Hey there guys, Ignite with Fire here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Schooled. Now, it will turn out that there is a lot of battle classes beginning with the letter S, because the last episode had a battle class beginning with the letter S, that being Sentinels, and so does this episode, this one being dedicated to, of course, the Swashbucklers. Now, Swashbucklers are similar to Sentinels in the fact that they tend to be flexible and agile when they utilise their moveset, but different to Sentinels. Rather than having a dual-sided weapon, they have two weapons to deal with, whether that's the same weaponry or, sometimes they can be different, as we will get into later on in the video, mind you. But basically, the key distinction between Swashbucklers and all the other classes is the fact that a lot of them have key aesthetics, such as our first swashbuckler, Ghost Roaster, because Ghost Roaster has the tail of a swashbuckler, and so the aesthetics alone make him a swashbuckler, I feel, and not to mention his chain whip attack, the fact that he actually utilises the aesthetic setup for him, is very flexible and agile, as all Sentinels should be, so Ghost Roaster makes a perfect first swashbuckler for us. But anyways, next up we have two Earth cores, that being Dynarang and Scorp. Now, Scorp, I had a huge internal debate about whether I wanted to make him a brawler or a swashbuckler, but I decided to choose a swashbuckler in the end, because not only is he agile and flexible, and the fact that he can roll just about anywhere he wants for as long as he wants, but there's also the fact that he has two of these cannon-based things, and they are incredibly fast and ranged. Keyword here is ranged. A ranged set of moves doesn't really suit the Brawl class that much, and you could also argue Ninja, but the thing with Scorp is that he ain't sneaky. So the fact that he has two launchers alone and that agility added to the moveset is enough to make Scorp a swashbuckler alone, but I can easily see why you disagree with this one. Scorp is just one of those characters that is very difficult to place, mind you, because of his uniqueness. But then there's also Dynarang, which is the first use of dual weaponry. So, Dynarang might not be as flexible and agile as many other swashbucklers, but what he does have is the fact that he uses both of his dual weapons in unity. So, swashbucklers, for most clever ones at least, don't just use a single weapon and then use the other one. They use both of their weapons in singularity to make for one incredible attack, utilising both of them in unity, which I could not emphasise enough. And with Dynarang, that's when he can make his twin boomerang spin around him, as so that's using two weapons in unity, I would say. Hence, Dynarang is a great swashbuckler, mind you. But apart from that, we have the last core right here, Starstrike. Now, Starstrike is clearly a swashbuckler because she has two fans, and the fact that she has dual weapons alone is enough for her to be classed as a swashbuckler. That, and also she was the first character in Skylanders history that could attack whilst jumping. So if that isn't agile, then I don't know what is. So yes, she has a very awesome moveset based around flexibility and agility, and above all, skill, and that's exactly what we want in a swashbuckler, and plus she also has weaponry to match that. But next up, we have the Giants in the form of Ningini and Swarm. So Ningini virtually is the perfect swashbuckler. I feel like she is the swashbuckler which many other swashbucklers to come was based off. Because not only does she have the tail, first and foremost, of a swashbuckler, but she also has the dual swords. So yes, you can't get any more swashbucklery than that. The fact that she has the aesthetics and the weaponry to match that. And Swarm, whilst not having a tail-based aesthetics like Ningini, does, however, have dual weaponry, and the fact that he has two swords rather than just one, and considering he's a giant, he is by far the most maneuverable and flexible giant out there, which would make for a great swashbuckler based moveset, mind you. So both of those characters are great giant swashbucklers. But moving on to the swappers from Skylanders Swap Force, we have ourselves a Free Ranger and a Washbuckler. Now, Washbuckler is very close to being called a literal swashbuckler, so how can you not call him a swashbuckler? Now, swashbucklers with dual weapons are not only flexible and agile, but one thing I should also mention is that they should be quick as well. Well, Washbuckler most certainly is quick. His sword swipes and cannon shots are probably the fastest of any Skylander out there, so that skill set most certainly matches the Swashbuckler theming, and he does have dual weapons. Now, most people would argue that he's not a swashbuckler because he has 2 different weapons, a sword and a gun. And since the 2 weapons are different, how could he be a swashbuckler? Well, to that I say, I do not care if you're one of those persons, he is a swashbuckler. But anyway, then there's also Free Ranger, who is going to be a swashbuckler because, first of all, his tornado counts as a tail in my personal opinion, so not only does he have the aesthetics for it, but he also has dual blade thingies right here, which, like the other characters that we've mentioned about previously, particularly Dynarang, he uses in Unity, and is incredibly quick with them, like the previously mentioned Swashbuckler. So those swappers definitely make for some great swashbucklers, mind you. But our last swashbucklers of the video are 2 Trapmasters, Tough Luck and Gear Shift. Now, Gear Shift in that current pose doesn't look like much of a swashbuckler, but in game she can split that gear into 2 halves. And whilst she's not particularly powerful, or quick even, she is powerful is what I'm trying to say here. And swashbucklers can be just as powerful as they are speedy. And above all, she can also perform all sorts of cartwheels and kicks. So that is a very flexible base moveset. So her skills in combat and the fact that that gear does split into 2 to make a double weapon for her to utilise is what I would call a swashbuckler based character for Gear Shift right there. But then there's also, last but not least, Tough Luck. And Tough Luck is on here for basically the same reason as characters like Starstrike or Scorp or even Free Ranger. The fact that she has dual swords which she uses in Unity to combo off one another, and so that dual weapon wielding is exactly what grants Tough Luck acceptance into this class. But with that all being said and done, we've looked at all of the swashbucklers here, so as always, let me know in the comment section below whether you agree with my picks or not. Let me know why though, because otherwise it would be a waste of a comment. But point is, I'll be seeing you for the next episode of School, but until such a moment, peace.